Welcome.
How y'all doing?
We're good. We're good. Thanks for coming.
All these people came just to see you.
Thank y'all. How you sitting on this chair?
I know. It's like I feel like I might slide off.
You could stand.
I feel like it's hotter in Canada than it is in Tennessee right now.
No.
Not hotter?
No.
No.
It's
Maybe
97 in
Georgia?
Nashville.
Maybe Georgia?
No.
No. Not even there.
97 in Nashville. Well, it's cooled off a bit for you. So
Yeah, this feels great.
yeah. I just saw you on Instagram posting you had July 4th in Niagara Falls. How was that?
It was fun.
Yeah?
I had like the best view. I didn't even have to go to Niagara.
It's right from the hotel room.
I looked at it from the window.
You're a pretty talented photographer. Like in the picture of the falls, you had everything you need. Like you had the falls, you had the Maid of the Mist boat, you got a rainbow.
You saw the rainbow?
I saw it. It was great.
I wasn't planned. It just happened.
When you come to events like this and you see a great crowd like this, and these are all winners, these are all people wanted to be here, then outside, there's been people out there since 1 o'clock this afternoon to see this show tonight. I mean, where you were, where you are, that's a trip, isn't it?
Yeah. It was on Facebook.
Yeah.
No, but it's cool. It means the world to me that people would just come out and come to the show and see me, and I just have fun because I feel like it's a place that people don't have to worry and just listen to music and have a good time.
And it's a level of validation for what you're doing, right? Because you put so much of yourself in what you do, in your craft, that people, to be able to see people like this and the people outside, the people that go to the shows that are really soaking it up, that's got to feel good about what you've been putting into the music you're putting out.
Yeah, it feels great because, this is something that I've always wanted to do. I used to sit in my bedroom and be like, man, I wish I had a song that people would sing to me that I wrote. So it means the world to me, and it's the second album that we're working on now. I feel like it's going to be way better than the first album, but I'm also nervous too because I'm being a little different on it. So, yeah, I hope y'all like it when it comes out. I don't know when it's coming. It's November sometime.
What's the change? What's the biggest change that's coming?
Honestly, instruments with melodies. I know it sounds weird, but it's
Okay,
like
all
it's
right.
not your ordinary melodies in country music with these instruments, which makes it just a lot crazier.
Yeah.
I feel like Lose It was like a little taste, but it goes wilder than that. So
Cool.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
So when you were in high school and you were in that bedroom and you're writing songs, and were you like keeping it kind of to yourself, or were you sharing that dream or that vision, or did you have somebody listening to it to kind of decide, oh, this is good, this is what you got to do?
Yeah, I had my ex-girlfriend's mom was my biggest supporter.
Is that right?
Yeah. And I remember she would take me to like X Factor and The Voice and everything, and now listen back to those old videos, and I was like, what was she supporting? It was bad.
She saw something.
I don't know. I've came a long way from those videos. Like the first videos that I put up, they're pretty bad.
I think they're still up too. You can't escape it, can you?
No, it's bad because I don't have internet connection over here for some reason, and people are like sharing them again. And I'm sitting there trying to delete them, and it's just like it's like this spinning circle, and I'm like, oh man.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So the process keeping with the writing, has your writing process changed at all from when you were writing and when you were younger to where you are now? I'm younger, 24 years old.
Yeah, I can't rent a car, man. It's bad.
Has it changed at all?
Yeah. Now, used to, I thought that anything that we wrote that rhymes was awesome. And now it's like, no.
There's got to be more.
And it's like, stay away from, trucks and tailgates and all that stuff. It's like, once somebody says that, you just got to knock it out of the room. Yeah.
Does it help with more people involved? I mean, I'm sure you've got partners and
Yeah, I can't write a
collaborators.
song by myself because I can't play more than four chords on a guitar.
Right.
I know, right? But yeah, I usually write with like 3 people in a room. Usually I have like a track guy, somebody that can play guitar really good, and then me. Yeah.
It's all part of the recipe, right?
Yeah, it's fun. I'm so excited for this next album. I feel like it's gonna shock a lot of people.
Good.
Especially this one song I got called. It's called Short Skirt Weather.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, it's like I remember I Like It, I Love It by Tim McGraw.
Yeah.
It's like a part 2 of that. It's pretty sick.
Is he aware of that?
I was gonna ask him to be on the song, but then I thought I'd just keep it to myself.
He's expensive. He doesn't come cheap, does he? So when you, I mean, the streaming numbers are, I mean, they're crazy. You know, the most streamed artist in 2018 in the country genre. But so when you started, I remember talking to you a couple years ago in Nashville at the CMAs when we did Radio Row, and you're pretty firm then too that you gave kind of bro country the shout outs that you said you liked it, but it just wasn't your thing. Was there pressure for you to kind of, because it's such a trend, and I need one of you guys to fix this mic for me, please. It was such a trend and such a big deal. It was like everybody was singing it, right?
Yeah.
Was there pressure for you to join that kind of whole scene with the you mentioned tailgates and Daisy Dukes and Down by the River?
Yeah, I don't know. I just came in at that era. But if you'll notice, like, none of those songs are in my set.
No.
No, like, Ain't No Stopping Us Now. If you like that song, I'm sorry. I hate that song. It's not in my set. Yeah. So, I don't know. That's just me. I like personal songs, and I like songs, that I can sing about my fiance, which is like every song that I write. And just songs that people can relate to and not be talked about that bro country guy.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, you brought her up. So can you tell the proposal story? Because I like it.
You like it?
I did like it. I thought it was pretty memorable.
Oh, it's definitely memorable. Yeah, so I sent her away to Pennsylvania because that's where she's from. It was around Easter. I was out on tour, and she thought I was breaking up with her. So, yeah. So I was like, go spend time with your family. I'm not breaking up with you. And she was like, I don't understand why you would send me away. So I get home from the run. Oh, I'm skipping ahead, my fault. So then we're going to Pennsylvania. So I have my tour bus stop in front of her house. And I get off the bus, and I go in the house. She's asleep. And I'm like, hey, babe. And she wakes up and freaks out. And I was like, I'm staying here, surprise. She was like, this is why you sent me away? And I was like, yeah, we're going to spend Easter with your family. And then, so we're sitting there, and Amityville Horror is on the TV. And it was my mom's favorite movie. So I thought it was memorable. And I had the ring in my pocket, and I couldn't help but wait. Because her mom had it set up for there was going to be like rose petals downstairs, and nobody was going to be at home. But I thought Amityville Horror was on TV, so this is the best time to do it. And it was like one of the most gory parts of the movie. And I was like, babe, will you marry me? And I gave her the ring. And then she started crying, and we got married. I remember we got engaged, my bad, we're not married yet. But then we see other people. There was one guy that came to my concert and proposed there in heaven, and we were watching at the same time. She was like, oh, it's so memorable. Do you remember how you asked me? Yeah. I was like, ours was special.
It is.
My mom's favorite movie.
You could have like a kind of like horror movie themed wedding.
Yeah, we love horror movies. We watch horror movies all the time.
See, that's your thing.
When you think about 15 years ago, as an example, artists would never have been thinking that putting up videos on Facebook or putting up videos on YouTube would lead to something like a record deal. Now, I mean, your story isn't as uncommon as people might think. I mean, there's lots of artists who have been discovered through social media. Can you talk about how exciting it was and your original thinking at the time? Were you thinking, this is my chance doing that?
Well, mine was crazy because I was working at Target and Lowe's. Mm-hmm. When I first started putting videos up, I was getting like 50 likes. Like my mom and her friends. And then one day I remember I put Lee Bryce's I Don't Dance went #1. So I covered that song in my bathroom with a lighthouse shower curtain behind me. Mm-hmm. And I remember waking up and my phone was dead, and I had it on the charger. And I was like, what's going on? So I finally got it turned back on, and my phone just started blowing up, like notification. I thought my phone got hacked. And I ended up having like 8,000 friend requests. I accepted all of them. Got 7,000 more.
Wow. And
I maxed out. They went to followers. And I thought I made it, but I only had 60,000 followers. So I was like, yes. And then started working at FedEx and was doing covers in my 2002 Honda. Wouldn't go over 4,000 RPMs. And wrote "Used to Love You Sober," and I put it up on Facebook and ended up getting 37 million views. And
That's all.
Yeah. Well, it went from 60,000 followers to 37 million views, and it was just like, now I feel like I made it. So then when we released it, Die Happy Man was out.
Yeah.
And it was like the biggest song of the year during that time. And Used to Love You Sober was competing with it for a second on sales. So that's when the record labels reached out to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't expecting to get a record deal. I was just making videos for myself, and it just turned out to happen.
And it's interesting because I heard you talk about the fact that you were close to being a driver at FedEx, and you thought,
I wanted
if
that
this
job
music
so
thing
bad.
doesn't work out, I'll be able to. And you were in the interview, you were genuinely excited about that opportunity.
Yeah, went to $17 an hour. I was super excited. Yeah,
It's a little more than that now, though, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, you're okay.
but I was pumped.
So what do you when you wake up and your phone is blown up like that? And I mean, like those are crazy numbers. Do you start to think like, what do I do now? Like, do I wait for someone to get in touch with me? Do I go find and kind of steer my own ship? Like, that's intimidating.
I just was having fun with it. I just I would put stuff up and then just have my phone in my hand just to watch like the notifications come up. I was like, this is crazy. And yeah, it was just, that was all I was looking out of it, was just the numbers and getting followers on social media. And then I had a message in my inbox one day saying we're from a record label in Nashville. And I was like, you're lying to me. And so I went out and called them. They're like, we want you to come up for a meeting. And after that, it was just like record labels back to back hitting me up. So it was just a dream come true. I remember crying in my bathroom because we wrote "Used to Love You Sober," and I was just like, yeah.
It's got to be a hard feeling to describe when you get those phone calls, right? When Nashville calls after the work you put in, you mentioned you cry about it, and it's the good kind of cry, right? Because I mean,
Yeah, it was
it's
like
just it must be an unbelievable feeling to get those phone calls.
Yeah, it was an exciting time because I had my first apartment, and my manager asked me to leave FedEx, so I was nervous. I was like, well, if this don't work out, but I was living off my iTunes money, and then all of a sudden, the labels came through. So it was it was a very exciting but nervous feeling because you're like, what if this happens and then it just doesn't work? So,
yeah. Wow, wild.
Yeah.
Crazy June for you too, with the CMT award and winning that award with Lauren. And then I was reading about you performing at CMA Music Festival, that stage in the Nissan Stadium.
That was pretty creepy.
So what's the capacity there? 60, 70, 80,000 people?
I think it's like 50 or 60.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge venue. So did you go out, like during rehearsal, are you having a moment? It was like, you said in the interview, that was the biggest stage you'd ever been on.
Yeah, I was, Thomas Rhett was just beside me talking to me. He was like, I told him, I was like, I'm nervous. He was like, oh, you got this. But then the next day out, I remember, or no, never mind, it was Dan and Shay that said they were nervous. I was thinking Thomas said he was nervous, but he's too good at this. But yeah, he was just telling me, he was like, you're going to kill it. And he kind of talked me down. And then I went out and forgot the first lyrics of the song. But then I caught my composure, and I feel like we did a good job.
Yeah, you did a great job. It was really fun to watch.
Well, this has been a real treat for all of us. It's been a real treat for all of you, I'm sure, right? I'm thinking.
Thank you.
The folks have been waiting out there since 1 o'clock this afternoon, and I'm sure it's going to be a great show tonight. You excited about tonight's opportunity here?
Oh, yeah, we're having fun. I love playing in buildings like this. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, we're looking forward to it as well. Kane Brown, everybody.